Thanks for tuning into the channel. And today we're going to be talking about Turo. If you're a Turo host or you're thinking about becoming a Turo host or you're not sure what Turo is, but you still clicked on the video, go ahead, go on Google, type in Turo, and then hit the search button, click on it, and you'll see it's a car sharing platform. How do you make money? You can put a car on there, start renting it out to people, and make money. That's how you can basically make money on Toro. You're gonna need a vehicle, and it's something that's been around now for a while. More people are getting familiar with it. It's definitely growing. Some of you probably already went and rented a car on there, and you're curious about doing it yourself, or like I said, you're doing it, and maybe you need help. Maybe you have questions and you don't know who to go to, right? And that's why if you're in that situation or you're thinking about joining, go in the description box and check out the class that I have. It's basically a community where all of us that are doing Toro, we can go on there, we can talk to each other with and ask questions. If we need help, right? You're gonna have a community to reach out to. Also, it's just not gonna be about Toro because let's face it, if you're doing Toro, you're probably trying to make more money. It's probably a side hustle. So you probably have the mindset, hey, what are ways to make money? And there's other ways that we can make money besides Toro. There's other side hustles, there's ideas, the stock market. And I want to start talking more about the stock market and talking about what I do in the stock market in hopes to help others find an additional source of income, find other ways to grow their money than besides putting it in a savings account. Because let's face it, you put it in a savings account, it doesn't really grow. You need to make your money grow, right? And you got to do stuff to make it grow. So if that catches your interest, let me know in the comments down below. That way I could send you also the link. If you want to know everything I use for Toro, I put that on the link as well. That could help you with your fleet if you're already on Toro or you're thinking about going. So don't forget, check out the description box. Got some useful links in there, but let's get into it. So the title says, would I rent out my Bentley on Toro, right? And you're probably curious. That's why you're watching. And the answer to that is no, I would not. I would not rent out my Bentley on Toro. And the reason I came up with this topic is I was asked that. Somebody wanted to know if I had a Bentley, would I rent it out on Toro? Now, I don't actually own a Bentley, but what I'm saying is true. I wouldn't rent one on Toro, and I wouldn't rent any exotic or high-end car on Toro. Now, if you've been going on YouTube or you're on Instagram or on all the platforms, you might have been seeing some reels and YouTube videos about individuals that are renting high-end cars and exotic cars and making a killing, right? But this is what you have to ask yourself because sometimes these videos and reels can get people into trouble, in my opinion. Okay. And basically, I'm just sharing my opinion and I'm just sharing my thoughts in hopes that helps you. But again, there's just my opinions. You have to make your own decision on things, but I'm just sharing my views. The reason I wouldn't rent out a high-end car a lot of the times. Now, not always. Some cars obviously hold their value better than others, but a lot of high-end cars do not hold value very well. They're sensitive when it comes to mileage, and the Carfax also is very important. When you're putting your car out to rent, it's going to be driven, miles are going to be put on the vehicle, and if it's on the road, you're also running a greater risk, especially having different people driving it of the car being in an accident and then it appearing on the Carfax, which would really hurt the value, especially on these high-end exotic cars. Because let's face it, when you're talking about cars like this, usually, not always, but most of the time when people are buying these cars, they make good money. If you're making good money and you're buying a really expensive car, you're going to want a clean Carfax. You're going to want low mileage. And if it doesn't have low mileage, if it doesn't have a clean Carfax, it's going to take a big discount to sell that type of vehicle. And also, a lot of us know, right, these vehicles, the maintenance and repairs and things like that, it's really expensive. So most people are not going to take on these type of cars unless they're well off. Now, I know there's a group of people that may not be well off. It's just want to look like they are, and they'll still buy these vehicles, but that's a smaller percentage. Most people wouldn't do that, right? And that's one of the reasons I wouldn't want to buy these high-end cars because you're taking, this risk, this cost, and are you going to make money at the end? Because a lot of people you can rent out a car and make a lot of money while it's being rented, right? But when you go get out of that vehicle, or if it gets in an accident and the insurance is going to pay out, if you are really upside down on that car, you're really underwater, all that effort and time you renting it out might end up being a loss at the end. And a lot of people don't think about the exit. Right. So the day you buy the car is the most important day, because if you did a bad deal the day you bought it, your exit, when you go get out of that vehicle, you're gonna get you're gonna get some bad news. You're gonna be underwater most likely, and you're gonna be underwater quite a bit, especially on these high-end cars. Now, a lot of times when you're watching these videos on YouTube or on Instagram, TikTok, whatever social media platform you're seeing them on, a lot of times how they're making so much money is they're finding individuals that own these cars, right? And then they're taking those cars and they're renting it out. That's fantastic, because now you're getting basically an inventory that doesn't, the cars are not costing you anything, because someone else is taking that responsibility. They're responsible for the car. They're responsible for making payments, or however they, bought the car. It's on them. So you're just taking the car. Your overhead might just be, getting the car cleaned and marketing and things like that, but you didn't actually buy the car. So every time it gets rented, however you did a lot of people do the 50-50 or 60-40, whatever split the person renting out the car did with the owner of the vehicle, they're going to make money most likely, right? Because hey, I'm renting out this Lamborghini. It rents out about $1,000 a day, and I'm going to get $500. And if I can get a fleet of popular cars like the Lamborghini Huracan, the Lamborghini Urus, and I can get them rented out depending where I live and do pretty well, I can make a lot of money. And guess what? I'm not on the hook for the car payment on that vehicle if it's financed. I'm not worried if I'm upside down because I didn't buy the car. I'm not worried if it gets in an accident. I just probably disclose that to the person that owns the vehicle, let them know, hey, we can rent it out. I'm going to give, we can make a lot of money. I'm going to give you half of that. And this, hopefully they let the person know, hey, this car can be in an accident, can be stolen. Are you okay with that? If they're willing to take the risk to get some money, then you start renting out that car, but you're not on the hook. So if you're thinking about renting out cars on Toro, or starting a rental car company with high-end cars, my recommendation would be not to own them, not to buy them. If you can find people that own these cars that will lend them to you so you can rent it out, you could possibly make a lot of money, right? There's no guarantees, and that's risky. And you would definitely need to do your research. And I don't rent these exotic cars for other people. So, in my opinion, if you do it that way, I could definitely see the potential of making a lot of money. And there's a lot of companies out there that are doing that, and people that are looking to do that. Have I done that personally myself? No. What I do, I rent cars on the Toro platform. I rent economical cars. Now, they're new cars. I don't rent out old cars or cars with 100,000 miles. I buy brand new cars at the dealership. I keep them for a year, and I usually will sell it either to CarMax or trade it in. Whoever gives me the most for it will be how I get out of it, and then I buy another new car. And the reason I do this is I make sure I do my research when I buy the car, because I want to get a good deal. So that way I rent it out for a year with no money down, and I exit out of it and I just try to get the payoff. Luckily, believe it or not, that's what I've been able. There's been cars I usually just get my payoff, so I walk away from the car. There's been times I even get positive equity. Okay, now how does that happen? When I go buy the car, a lot of dealerships, and some of you may be familiar with this, they put here, they'll have the window sticker. It's called the Maruni sticker, but a lot of people go by window sticker, right? It's a big square that has all the information on the car and the MPGs and all that. You'll see sometimes right next to that sticker, or sometimes it's on the windshield, a smaller sticker. And on that sticker, you'll see that it says sometimes window tint, not, you know, uh, some protection on the paint, nitrogen on the tires, all these things, and it has fees next to it. So it could be like nitrogen on tires, $300, window tint, $500, ceramic coating or whatever they on the paint, $1,000. And you add all these packages up, and it's like $1,500 or $1,000, some obscene amount. that for the majority of people, it's a waste of money because a lot of people, they're not going to keep the car forever, right? A lot of people are going to try to get out of this car in 2 or 3 years, if not sooner. And why are you paying all this money for things that if you bought the car without it, nothing's going to happen to it in 2 or 3 years? Now, again, that's my opinion. You can disagree with me. And if you see the value in those things, go ahead and get it. But a lot of the times, that's just going to get you upside down. You need to understand why are you buying the car. If you're buying the car because you want to rent and make money, you want to make sure you can get no add-ons on the car. Get the car discounted under MSRP, right? So whatever that window sticker is on that window, you want to get it reduced from that. You want to get it at the lowest price and get no add-ons. That's what's going to help you exit. Now, if a lot of car dealerships will tell you, and to me, this is not sales. They'll tell you, oh, well, the car already has it on, so we have to sell you on it. That's not selling. That's forcing packages on individuals that may not even want them and making people unhappy. Okay. If you're a business and I understand you want to make money, so you're coming up with ideas of things that you can offer to increase your profit margins every time you sell a car, that's fine. I get that. But sell people those options, sell the value in them, convince them that it's worth it, and let them choose the options that they want and let them select what they want. So, for example, if you got a car and instead of telling them you need to get the nitrogen, the window tint, the ceramic coating, and whatever else, because the car already has it, why don't you sell them on it and let them select those things? And if they select everything, give them everything. But the customers that don't want everything, don't give them a hard time and just don't sell it to them. Now, what I've done in those situations, I always say I'm not gonna pay for any of those things. I stick to my to what I'm saying, and a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times those ships will remove it, even though they tell me they cannot. I've had them remove it. Sometimes a dealership will say they won't do it, and that's fine because you know what? If I'm looking at a Toyota, okay, there's a gazillion Toyota dealerships. So if the Toyota dealership doesn't want to work with me for whatever reason, I'll find one that does. If you're at a Mazda dealership, same thing. Nissan dealership, Honda dealership, most likely whatever dealership you're at, if you're at a new car dealership, they're going to have you're going to have other dealers, right? So if one dealership's not working out for you, don't be afraid to go to another one. Don't rush the process. You want to get the best deal. And so that's what I do. I get the car. And then the good thing is, since I bought it brand new, I rent it out for the whole year. When I go do my taxes, my accountant is going to write off the vehicle, depreciate the vehicle. So that's going to go against my what I made on the vehicle, and it's going to reduce my tax bill, and then I sell it and I get another one. Now I could keep that car and depreciate some more, but my first year I get the biggest depreciation. After that, the depreciation is going to become smaller. So I just like to get right out of it at that point, get another new car with warranty, everything new, safe, reliable for the guests that are renting it. And it gives me opportunity with taxes. And if you do a good deal, you should be able to get out of it. Now, you want to be buying cars that are known to hold their values because there's cars out there and people are buying, they're horrible. They're horrible with the value. And it's easy to do some research and find out these vehicles. Use Google. Google's a great tool. Go on Auto Trader too. It's one of my favorite websites. I'm not sponsored by them, but that's where I go to search for vehicles. I have other videos from the past where I go on there on Auto Trader. I share the screen and show how I do it. If you want me to do that on the next video, because it's the first time you tuning in, let me know down in the comments below. If you have questions about Turo, if you're interested in different ways to make money and you want to join the course, let me know. The links are in the description. Also, everything I use for Toro is in the description. So check out those links in the description box. If you enjoyed the video, if you found it helpful, do me a huge favor. Smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Really would help out the channel. And hit that notification button. That way you're informed of every time I upload a new video. Well, I really appreciate your time, and I'll see you on the next one.